All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, back to talk more Walking Dead Season 11. Today we're talking about Episode 4. It's called Rendition. So just a few things. First off, again, thank you for all of you that are finding these videos. You know, there's a million different choices of Walking Dead. If you're one of those people who wants to get as many opinions out there and thoughts on these as possible, and you find mine, you like it, appreciate it. Been talking about and living this show for a while in many different forms, and you know, it's nice to be finally talking about it and feeling kind of the end coming of the main show. It's been a long time coming, and I appreciate the support. If you're liking what we do, make sure you hit the like button, become a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, to those of you returning, welcome back. How you doing? The other thing, and I get this, but only up to a point, and that's people getting butthurt over talking about these episodes that are releasing a week early for the people who choose to pay for the service. Now, I absolutely understand when people get frustrated when, and it's everywhere and every day, somebody's got early access to something that they're given. They're given. Like, I can't remember what they call them, stream, or the phrase escapes me. When somebody receives like a TV show early or a movie early from the people who offer them the option to, hey, here it is, and we'd like you to talk about it. And usually that kind of comes with positive reviews for other things, and so they want that person's opinion, and usually that person, you know, I would say they're kind of expecting positive, like, early talk about it. I get upset with that too, because I just don't understand why some people, you know, I mean, I actually do understand it, because if you get a certain amount of traffic to your channel about things, and if again, like, you've proven that you are positive about certain things that these companies put out, they want all the word they can get. So I understand being irritated that you don't get to watch something early. But here's the thing. Getting upset when people who purchase AMC Plus because they want to talk about it early and they want to pay the $5. It's $5 for AMC Plus. All right. Now, maybe you just like the ritual of every Sunday night, and I get that too. But I don't have a lot of time in my week. And so I want to watch The Walking Dead early. If somebody's going to offer me to watch The Walking Dead early for $5, I'm going to do it. Maybe if you don't have the extra $5, I'm sorry, but you know, don't get mad at people for buying the service and then wanting to talk about it. There's a community of people out there that are buying the service, and they do want to talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, don't watch the videos. I'm trying not to put too many spoilers in my thumbnails and in my descriptions. And none of the things that I put up really are anything that's like, oh God, like, I'm not showing anybody die. So everybody just calm down. I think a lot of it has to do with just being upset that you don't have the service. Maybe you don't even have access to the service, and that sucks. But don't get pissed off because somebody chose to spend the $5. All right? If AMC releases it and you don't like that, that's on AMC, not the people who decide to buy it and then want to talk about it. That being said, the serious part is over. let's jump into this episode, which is Daryl's version of what happened after the ambush by the Reapers. This has some good and some bad, and the bad really comes from my own personal biases again. There's a couple of things maybe that don't, I did not make sense with me, but this is then spoilers again. We had it in the beginning. This is the return of Leah, which honestly I didn't see coming. And maybe I should have. Maybe it's because it's 7:05 in the morning. I kind of forgot about her. She was only in one episode, and while it might have been, it's less than a year ago that her episode was released. It's been a long 7 months, 8 months. And I just didn't think that they would get to her like this. I think that's the big thing, is that it was a surprise to see her in this fashion. But once you hear about it, it all kind of makes sense. Once you get the context of why she was gone and now why she's with these people. And it's interesting. We also get the introduction of the Pope character played by Richie Coster, who I didn't know who this guy was. I called him like the Kmart version of Terry O'Quinn. I was like, man, if they got Terry O'Quinn in this part, that'd be freaking amazing. But no, it's played by a character actor, Richie Coster, who, to me, all I could find the biggest thing he was in The Dark Knight. And he played the Chechen, the one with the dogs, I bring dog. And so I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Once I got to know the character, I was like, yeah, here we go again. Here we go again. Another person who experienced some crazy shit and then went off the deep end. But I really like Daryl's aspect of this. And first off, let's just get this out of the way. If anybody thinks Daryl's going to suddenly change sides, because I know there's like an aspect of the audience of the people who just... Well, is he going to turn on our group? No. He knows that this is crazy. He knows that his friend Leah is in a situation that he understands, but he knows that this is, well, as the military would use, fucking FUBU. Fucked up beyond, what, understand, I can't, that's not it. Snafu? Situation normal, all fucked up. Yeah. So he's just playing along, all right? Anybody out there that's going to be like, oh no, he's going to be a traitor. And I think that that's a small percentage of the population that watch this is going to think that. But there's going to be, like, people that are, like, just, like, about it. So he gets into this pretty rough fight. And I appreciated this fight. I liked watching, just real physical fight to the death, hand-to-hand combat. The fact that he disappears after throwing a blade, there's three guys standing there. He throws a knife that doesn't even really get, anywhere near hurting them. And then they don't really seem to lose his eye line, their sight of him, yet he disappears like fucking Batman. I know Daryl's good, but maybe we're supposed to think that the light, because the lighting, right? It's also like the brightest nights. You can see everything really, really good. And I would think that unless there's just natural moonlight everywhere, it would be a lot darker. So maybe, if they played it like way darker, if they showed it looking way darker, maybe I'd believe it a little bit more. But this is when we find, he gets separated from Dog. Dog was fine. I was worried. I was more worried about Dog than I was with Daryl. But one of the Reapers finds Dog and is keeping him from Daryl. And this is where we're revealed that that person is Leah, played by Lynn Collins. Who, again, I like Lynn Collins. I don't think Lynn Collins is in enough stuff. But there she is. And I was like, okay. So she was on the run from these people. She had left. What made her leave? What made her want to leave? it already puts the doubt in your mind that things are not, for Leah, not as perfect as they could be. And she left this kind of thing for a reason. It made me think of people like me who leave a cult. When your eyes are opened, and you get away, and sometimes those people come after you, and sometimes it's hard to get away. And maybe in this case, it was really hard to get away because maybe they didn't give her a choice. Maybe it was shit. They found me. Got to go back to my family. Like, it's a little bit more second nature because she's been with these people for so long. And that's where their story is that we find out that the Reapers were soldiers who turned mercenary and then stuck together when everything went to hell. And now they live by their own kind of crazy code because the Pope, played by Richie Coster, believes they are the chosen ones. And I was like, oh goody, another religious fanatic. Right up my alley. He tells the story here of how they were surrounded by fire. They were surrounded by fire and they were not touched by the flames. And I'm just like, oh fuck yourself. Like, come on, you weren't obviously you weren't surrounded by flames. The flames were close, but you probably got really hot. You probably got really sweaty. But that don't mean, I think that they had just seen so much that this guy that they survived all of this. They survived Afghanistan. They survived the lies told by the politicians who say they see God. And I liked that bit. I understood that bit where, politicians who don't even believe in the things that they say, will go out there and use God because they know that other people believe in God, and they will use that as a tool to get people to do things. As this guy says, we were props. So, I like the aspect that this guy knows, like, what role he played and, like, what, how he woke up to why they were really, like, what they were really there for. And, he saw that these people who don't believe in God, that use God, he saw God in the horror and the destruction that were around them. And then, they come home from Afghanistan. Everything else goes, they become mercenaries, and then the world falls. They do what they got to do. And then they get into a situation where it's just like the whole world's ended and they're still alive. They're surrounded by fire. And he gets like the governor and Negan, everybody and Rick in our group, like everybody has their moment where they're just like, this is what we are. This is who we are. This is what we're going to do. Like the Whisperers, everybody got to that moment. And this is the direction that these people went. And I'm assuming that at that point, those people just, maybe they believe, maybe they don't believe. Maybe they go along just to survive as a family, But this guy believes. And that's always been, a problem of mine, is people who have these unflinching beliefs instead of ideas and thoughts. You can change a thought, you can change an idea, but changing a belief system is very difficult. And believe me, it's been hard for me to expunge everything that I used to believe. There are always parts of my brain that are fighting that I have to keep reminding myself. I'll get stuck in a thought and go, that's not right. It's not a right thought. That's not a right. You think you're going down that road when you're thinking about it. And it's like course correcting from that is very difficult. But they go through all the rigmarole, they try to waterboard Daryl, which I got from Rendition, that this was going to be like that kind of episode. They want information on the group, Maggie's group. There's more, that's an aspect that we really need to talk about briefly, is what's Maggie been holding back on? I feel like there's a lot more to Maggie's story than we know. These people feel like Maggie's the threat. Like, is Maggie's version of the events that happened between them and the Reapers, are they accurate? I'm not saying Maggie's suddenly going to turn out to be a bad guy. I just mean, it just seems like there's some beats that been left out. And Maggie herself, we're finding out these things that happened after, slowly about what happened after she left the group. And I think that there's more. I think that there's some stuff out there because they really got a major hard on for her group. But Daryl plays the lone wolf card, even to the guy that they capture that's with our main group, making sure that he is not, known to not be affiliated with anybody, trying to get that guy to save himself. Like, don't say nothing. Stop talking like we're friends. We have to play it like this because if they know, if you give them any information, they're just going to use that, and once your usefulness is over, they'll probably kill you. If they find value in you, they might keep you. It's the kind of tactic you have to use when you're in a life and death situation. That, and also you just don't want to betray your friends. You don't want to get more people killed. And, it's just where they're like, they're speaking in tongues. I think they're speaking in tongues in one moment when they find one of their guys dead. And God is here. He's angry. I'm angry. Yeah. And then Daryl gets put through this like test where they set fire to the building he's in with Leah, and he fights his way out with her, and then that's like his initiation that he didn't get burned in this fire, and it wasn't even that big of a deal. There was a window to get out of. Like if he had bashed his way out of a fucking wall or something, like a real wall, not one that had some boards to pull out. If he walked out of there like fucking Khaleesi, like the mother of dragons, that's one thing, but this guy, they set it up so that he could, but he's born, forged by fire. And they say fortudo salutis, which is Latin for, I don't know, saluting fortune. Daryl telling him, I don't believe in God, I just believe in me now. That was good for Daryl. At least he's being honest still about that. Lynn Collins' character being the only woman is troubling amongst all these guys for this long. I know that there's a respect that brothers in arms have for each other, but this has been a really long time, and I worry for what this character has been through over the last 10-ish years. More than that. Well, let's see. How old is Judith? However old Judith is right now, that many years of being the only woman in this group. Maybe she wasn't always the only woman, but she is now. What else do we have here for this episode? Well, okay, so he tells them, like, one of their guys, I guess, left their friends in a fight, and he came back, and didn't have them with him. And Pope says, never turn your back on your brother, to Daryl. And he throws the guy into the fire and kills him. And I'm thinking to myself, that Maggie's group has the numbers on you. Can you really afford to be throwing your men into the fire? And then I remembered, oh yeah, he believes in all this, like, they're chosen ones. I was half expecting the guy to be like, see, he's not one of us because he got burned. So, and then Daryl looks at Leah and she looks at him and like, yeah, this is who you are. This is who you grew, with. I didn't talk too much about their relationship. I mean, they care about each other. There's this like weird thing that they don't talk about. That's close to love, I guess, as you can get. Daryl would do anything for her, just about. It seems, but I think that there's got to be a line that he has somewhere. Whoops. Where between her and his group, our group, that he's been with all these years, there's got to be some kind of limit to what he'll do for her, but it doesn't seem like much. And that's about it. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward episode. It's just our getting to know the villains of this season. And our intro our look at next week's episode is the introduction into the Commonwealth. We get to see them a bit more of the bigger picture there, which should be interesting. Alexandria is under attack by walkers. They find a Whisperer mask, which I don't know what that's going to mean. Maybe they put it on, maybe they don't. I think they put it in there on purpose so people just speculate what they're going to do when they find the mask. It could just be literally nothing. You know, they're just going through the like burned out remnants of Alexandria and find one. Maybe they put them on, maybe they don't. I don't really care. I'm sure some people are going to freak out. And then you got more Negan and Maggie, you know, having to work together. So that's pretty much it. I know that maybe I said some weird shit, and if I pissed you off, I apologize. That is not my intention, but I got to be honest. And I got to tell my truth. So if you like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. If for some reason you hated everything I just said, you know, maybe the mocking the religious was a bridge too far for you, well, we can give you a better memory. So if you did not like this, look right here. If you did like this, please look away, put on shades. And if you have a sensitivity to light, please, for the love of God, don't look right here as we give these people a better memory. And here is the memory I hope you like more than what you just watched. Have a great day. See you next week. Bye.
You know what? Yes, I am.